What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to another week of the show to listen to. That's right, you're listening to The A Show.
Boom, boom, boom.
Where we bring you. We should get like a ring bell sound effect. I want to put a sound effect. I'm going to start doing that. We're going to start doing that. But welcome to The A Show, the show to watch. I always say watch. That's about to be a meme.
It's episode 12, baby. Come on. You can't watch us.
I'm always saying watch. Anyway.
Listen, you always say watch. What's going on?
I don't know. I think I'm thinking about Facebook Watch because I'm so excited for the Mix Match Challenge, which we're going to get to on this show.
Wow. What a great segue.
Hey.
You've really come along in these 12 episodes.
Hey, listen. Hey, I'm good. I'm good with it. I'm very good with it. Well, how you doing, Meelz? This is the first real week of the new year. Everything's back in the swing of things and people are getting used to things again. How is it in New York?
I am not getting used to things. I wish I was home more. That holiday really thinged it, and the holiday really got to me. And then there was a giant blizzard that just made me not like a really giant blizzard. It's about 6 to 8 inches of snow.
That's too much.
It's that's a lot, but it's not a lot. Places get more. A lot of places got more. On the coast of Long Island, it probably got around 12 to 24 inches. 6 to 8 is nothing in the city. So we had a snow day last week, which was great because I got to watch, Wrestle Kingdom, and then we got to do the podcast last week. Fantastic.
Yep.
But yeah, this is my first full week of work back, and I'm just I'm not, whatever. Yeah, it is what it is. But you know what? Wrestling's been keeping me sane. There's a nice collection on the network. Because they're in 2 weeks or next week or something, they're doing the top 25 moments of Raw on the network.
Yeah.
So on their collections, they have pretty much 26 through 100, which I think is cool as hell. So I've just been going through those.
Is Punk in any of those? I guess we'll talk about that. I guess we'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, is Punk in any of those?
I haven't got to them yet. Yeah, I can actually take a look right now. But I haven't got to that yet. I literally just started. I'm I'm so excited for this. I literally just watched Hugh Jackman punch Dolph Ziggler in the face. But I would hope so. Let's see. I don't know. A lot of McMahon stuff. A lot of McMahon.
Yeah, of course.
This is the 25th anniversary of Vince McMahon's greatest creation, Monday Night Raw.
It is his greatest creation, and I guess we'll just go right into that, into our no holds barred section of the show. Big names announced for Raw 25. I mean, they're pretty much stacking this show to the brim with content. Of course, in case you didn't know, the show will be simulcast from the Manhattan Center and the Barclays Center. It's going to be a 5-hour event. However, we're only getting 3 of those hours. If that makes any sense.
I'm fine with that.
I'm cool. I think people freaked out yesterday, I think, when people thought it was going to be a 5-hour show. When in all actuality, it is not a 5-hour show.
Don't get me wrong. WWE could do a 5-hour show. They could say, hey, from, 6 to 8, we're putting stuff on the network. So it's the pre-show for the Raw 25 for 2 hours. And they're at the Manhattan Center, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty stoked.
It's too much. It's already too much.
Yeah.
It's already too much.
Look, Hogan's here. Wow.
Hogan's not on. They didn't announce it. Oh, you're talking about the moment.
No. Hogan's on the list.
Oh, okay.
I was looking through to see if CM Punk's on it. Hogan's there, but it's not a Hogan moment. It's Hogan getting kicked in the face by Shawn Michaels.
No.
Yeah, that's it. We've got a stacked show. Shawn Michaels will be there.
Shawn Michaels, DX is going to be there. I would imagine not X-Pac, but they haven't announced him. But I would imagine he'd be there if he's going to be in DX. Kevin Nash is going to be there. Scott Hall is going to be there. They just announced Eric Bischoff, which is huge today.
Wow.
Who else is going? Did they announce? I'm looking at the list right now. Jerry Lawler and the King are going to. Jerry Lawler, and Jim Ross are going to be there.
Jim Ross.
Yeah. A lot of people are going to be at the show. Undertaker, of course.
The Undertaker's a big name because the Undertaker we're looking was hey, is he doing something for WrestleMania? Is he not?
I think I'm just concerned about what's this is the go home show in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks at Raw 25, this is a go home show. I'm just wondering how they're gonna program everything in, and on Raw we kind of got a really good idea of what exactly is going to happen. But I'm wondering, with all of this, all these people that are going to be there, how exactly is the show going to be formatted? Are the legends going to be at the Manhattan Center, and the show at the Barclays Center, or how's that going to work? I'm not really sure how they're going to do that.
I'm sure they're figuring it out right now. They put a lot of. I expect, because not only are a bunch of legends going to be there, the Smackdown roster is also going to be there. So it's going to be pretty much everybody. So I expect a lot of like mashup segments. I expect New Day and legends and
they got to do the club. They got to do the club with DX or the NWO. They got to do that.
Easily. They could do that. They could easily have some legends show up to walk with Elias. Who knows? Jim Ross and JR. I mean, JR and Jerry Lawler could easily see them calling a match together just for old time's sake. A lot of talent. Undertaker, I'm sure will be within the first 10 minutes of the show.
It will take up 10 minutes from the walk in.
Yeah, I think it's a good kickoff to Raw, because you get to his entrance is so long. Even if you tune in late, you really haven't missed anything.
Yeah.
So I could see that going on. Maybe an appearance by Dwayne. Maybe.
Oh shit! Speaking of him, Stone Cold's going to be on the show. That's like the
Stone Cold is 100% going to. Wow, we buried the lead.
Yeah, we definitely buried the lead there. But Stone Cold is the biggest name on the show. You can't have a Raw anniversary without Stone Cold there. It's just you can't do it. It's impossible. I don't think he'll be stunning anybody. Hey, tell the guy that's robbing the car outside of your house to calm it down.
Listen, it's a lot of traffic. It's a lot of movement out here. It's New York City. It's always something going on, outside of your window. So,
they probably heard that Stone Cold was going to be there in 2 weeks, and they got excited and they started honking.
Listen, I approve. Honk if you like Stone Cold. Who knows? But yeah, Stone Cold. I mean, I'm still not going. Unfortunately, I just feel like the resale on the tickets is just like.
Well, how much is it?
All right, so Barclays Center has gone completely insane over the last few years. Just to give a minor history, my first time I went to SummerSlam in 2015, I probably paid for my really good seats about $180. Still a lot.
That's not a lot.
It's SummerSlam. It's still SummerSlam.
It's a big show.
2 years later, this year, I paid similar seats. I don't even want to tell you what I paid. It's literally embarrassing that I would pay that much for
400
anything.
400
more.
5?
More, yes,
oh.
Even slightly more. It's insane. So, lowest cheapest tickets you can get is $109. Which is nosebleed.
Damn.
Yeah, that's at the Barclays. At the Manhattan Center, there we go again. At the Manhattan Center,
he's excited.
Listen, cheapest tickets at the Manhattan Center.
Yeah.
What am I? Let me see what I'm looking at. They don't even have the map of the damn center. It's so damn old.
It's small.
Tickets. The average price at the Manhattan Center, get this, $581.
Wow. Fuck that shit.
That's what I'm saying. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Listen, it's only 2 sections in the Manhattan Center. It's not that big. So,
And it's probably sold. It's probably sold by now.
People are wrong with these tickets. I can't deal with resale culture. But, it's going to be a good show.
I'm kind of bummed, and I think I got to this kind of earlier, a couple minutes ago. But this is the Raw 25, and there's going to be one person that is not going to be there, and we all know that that's CM Punk. And I know that a lot of people have either kind of went the other way on him in the past couple of years. I know I certainly have, or they're just kind of let it go. But I think me and you are in agreement that he arguably had one of not only the greatest runs, but the most memorable moment of the past 2000, of this decade.
Right. I think, listen, he was champion for over a year, 443 days, I want to say.
Yep.
Like, champion for over a year. He had one of the greatest moments on Raw that sort of broke the internet. He was a consistent figure on Raw for so long, and you had so many memorable moments in his time on top. It's a shame he won't be there, but I don't think Punk cares, unfortunately.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I think. Yeah,
well, he cares because he cares because so block. He cares because he'll block you if you talk about it and you add him. He'll care because he'll block
easily. You. I'm already blocked by CM Punk.
What? When did he block you?
So I remember this night actually clearly. It's the night of the Fatal 4-Way to crown Universal Champion, and Finn got injured, so they did that Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah,
and we were all hyped that Kevin Owens won it. And I'm like, damn, Punk's missing out. So I tweeted a picture of him in his training sessions getting choked out. I didn't even mention him. I just tweeted the picture of him getting choked out. It's one of my favorite photos of all time. He looks absolutely helpless in his training. Like, it's not even the actual match. Like, and this was like a couple months, maybe a couple of weeks before his actual match. Someone added him. It got a lot of traction. Someone added him, and then he just blocked me. And I was like, you know what? I'm fine. I'm cool. He doesn't tweet that much silly for cool crap anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't. It just sucks, and that's why I asked if his moment showed up on that list, because you can't have that moment be in the 26 to 100. Like, that is a top 10 moment. Like, I wonder how they're going to handle it.
26 to 100, if that's
okay. So, I mean, if it's in the top 10, how do they handle that? I wonder.
I have no idea. I hope it's at least in the top 10. I mean, I don't think they haven't like erased him from history.
Yeah, absolutely not. They haven't mentioned his run. I mean, even with Brock Lesnar's Universal run, and he's almost been champion for a year. They have not mentioned Punk's run at all.
They haven't mentioned Punk outside of responding to people chanting Punk and getting a kick out of it. They really haven't mentioned it. They don't mention him as, a great former WWE champion. They don't mention him as someone who's done a lot and been one of the greatest talkers. Maybe they don't mention him at all. So it's kind of, it's kind of interesting. And I don't know. There's a lawsuit going on. I'm wondering at what stage of that lawsuit we're currently at.
I know it's bad blood there, but hopefully they handle it in a respectful way. But Raw 25 sounds good, and obviously we'll know more next week when we're a week out. But already it sounds like a stacked show. The next point this week is Samoa Joe is injured again. This past Monday on Raw after his match against Rhino, which I thought he looked fine. I'm sure I didn't see anything wrong, but apparently it was a foot injury. They announced the next day that Joe was injured and would have to be replaced on the Mixed Match Challenge. And apparently from the prognosis, if he doesn't need surgery, he'll be out for at least 6 weeks. If he does, it will be 12. So he'll make it right before WrestleMania, but he'll be out for most of the pay-per-views before that.
I couldn't see them him being booked into WrestleMania. I mean, he could work towards it. I mean, first of all, it's unfortunate. It's terrible that at this point, I feel like we've seen it a lot over the past couple of years, and most notably with Seth, that injuries sort of plague WrestleMania. I remember maybe 2 years ago, Neville shattered completely, like his ankle. Yeah. And then he was out for WrestleMania, and then last year we had Seth almost be out for WrestleMania. So it's kind of, these situations are kind of very, very unfortunate. But I can't see him making WrestleMania unless he really, really trains for it. It sucks because I feel like, he called out John Cena on Raw, and maybe we'll get to Raw later. But it looked like things were moving for him, and as things continue to move for him at certain points, and then injuries sort of derail him. What
it looks like right now, and obviously we'll talk about this on Raw. If Joe doesn't need surgery, he'll make it maybe right after Fastlane, right before Fastlane, he'll make it back. Probably won't make it back for Elimination Chamber, but could probably still be a presence. He probably won't be able, he probably won't have to leave the show completely, if they really want to go that way. It's still possible. I'm just worried about, he's 39, I believe, years old. He's got a lot of wear and tear. These types of things, they happen. They happen when you get older, and I think a lot of people don't realize that Joe's been around the block. He's been around for a while. I just don't want him to be pegged as injury prone because he's doing such a great job right now.
Yeah, but I agree. I feel like if it wasn't for what he brings to Raw, which is a very like a star quality to it, I think he would immediately get that label.
Yeah.
Because he's, whether you like it or not, like he's one of the biggest people on Raw in terms of heels. There isn't a massive heel right now, and Joe sort of fills that spot, and now probably the Miz is going to fill that spot.
Yep.
But it's he brings a presence to Raw, so I think hopefully that outweighs the fact that he has been caught with a couple of injuries over the last year. But these things happen. It's to me, it looks more like, as opposed to like his body failing, it looks just more like a freak accident in the ring.
Yep. And hopefully he we'll probably get more of a prognosis or a diagnosis on what's happening by tomorrow. I think he's supposed to get an MRI, but get well soon, Joe. I hope he'll be back before the end of February. Next thing,
I hope so too.
Mixed Match Challenge is 1 week away. We're pretty much all squared away with everything. I have to commend myself. I know this is stupid to commend myself, but I called all of the SmackDown, the final SmackDown teams a week ago.
Listen, good for you, man. Good for you.
I called it.
Always feels good to be right. Don't let anybody take that away from you.
I know. I'm very rarely wrong though. I'm very rarely wrong about this shit.
All right. Well, okay. All right. Well, sure. No one can stop your shine.
So the final teams, some of the final teams, I think Raw is complete now with the teams. Sasha Banks, Finn Balor. Who else? Goldust, Alicia Fox, which is team first round elimination. Asuka and The Miz. I know you like that one a lot.
Of course.
I thought that was a great video too that revealed that where Miz was like fucking geeked and Asuka got out of a limo in wrestling clothes, which was fucking ridiculous.
She, whatever, man, whatever. I feel like all these second, at least this week, with all their reveals, have been very, very good.
Yeah, they've been awesome. I thought the Alicia Fox Goldust one was complete surprise, and from what I understand, they did not know. Only a couple of the talent knew. But I thought it was awesome. I
thought the Shinsuke Natalia one was very good as well.
Awesome.
Because Natalia loves to take selfies, and then he just shows up in the background. You have Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman. We have Nia Jax and Apollo Crews.
Thanks to Enzo being injured, because I'm pretty sure it was going to be Enzo and Nia.
I was pretty sure as well. We have Elias and Bailey. Personally, I know Samoa Joe was winning by a landslide.
Yes, he was.
Kind of like he was winning by a complete landslide, but I voted for Elias, so I feel good. I feel right because I'm right.
You what an ass
for Elias. I was just like, no, I don't really want to see Joe the Bailey. I want to see Elias. Joe takes this nonsensical tournament too seriously. Like I can't.
I think I take it too seriously too, but I'll get to that in a second.
You have Sami Zayn and Becky Lynch. I thought was another good reveal.
And make sure you go see these videos. I think they're on YouTube now, but they're also on their individual Facebooks. These videos are awesome, by the way. I think they're complete. The way they're produced, the way that they have the talent acting in complete surprise, it's great. Like Sami Zayn completely dresses up as somebody else, and Becky doesn't even recognize him. It's great. And then they had a vote today that was decided today, where it was Carmella and one of the members of the New Day. I guessed it was going to be Big E because I honestly feel as though he's the one who gets the most reactions out of all of them, and it was Big E. So that was awesome.
I'm all for Big E. I'm all for doing. I mean, Carmella really has nothing going on, so I see this as potentially some sort of character development, character revitalization for Carmella. Maybe it shows another side of her that she can be, funny, or she can be, she can add a little bit more. I think we've seen her in two roles as sort of Staten Island girl and the Staten comes out with Enzo and Cass.
Yeah.
And now she really needs none of them, and she really needs to find her identity. I hope New Day helps her find it.
At first, I thought this tournament was going to be like just complete horse shit, but it's fun. And I think
oh my god, it's so fun.
Yeah, the way they're producing it, like I really the way they're producing it, they're making it so that the wins and losses don't really matter. And I thought that was going to be a big thing, but it's not going to matter. It's literally to have fun. It's an extra 20 minutes on TV every week, and that's it. And I think that's pretty dope.
I think it's dope. Beth Phoenix will be commentator.
Yep.
For this mixed match challenge. I don't know who her partner is going to be necessarily. It could be anybody.
Nobody knows yet. Yeah, nobody knows yet.
But I think it's a good idea. It's fun. It's like the wacky races of WWE. I've been all for it since it started. I think it's a nice, fresh air, just characters doing character things. I feel like we need to incorporate more of that from time to time. I think just those tournaments that have been happening worldwide. I think the soccer tournaments. I don't know, the World Cup.
Yeah.
I think World Cup was a great phenomenon that happened over the last 3 years, 4 years. That just people were literally going in droves together to watch this tournament, and I think WWE really needs to sort of hone in on that sort of vibe.
Yeah.
And I think we've had the Cruiserweight Classic, we've had the Mae Young. I think the Mae Young probably sold it a little bit shorter, but we get these vibes where people want to come and watch these things together. I think it's really good. I think it's good. Yeah,
absolutely. The next point of news is some Japanese news, some Japan news. New Japan news. Yeah, we had such a really good reaction from last week, so I really want to start integrating New Japan into the news a lot more. And I think that this was a really good week. New Japan had one of the best weeks that they've had in a while. Wrestle Kingdom 12 was not only a big hit on social media, but it was also a big hit just period. They actually drew a paid attendance of 34,995 fans to the Tokyo Dome last week on January 4th, which was a 34% increase from last year's attendance. And they also saw basically a huge increase in New Japan World subscribers from I think around 70,000 to around 90,000 on January 4th of this year. So I think that's huge. I think we asked the question, or we posed the question, was this something that got a lot more interest in New Japan World? And I think that it did.
I think this is starting to become we see other sites starting to carry it. You see the Bleacher Report or Deadspin or Rolling Stone or other people really starting to care about sort of New Japan, or at least care in the moment, because Wrestle Kingdom is so big. I feel like it's, with the inclusion of Chris Jericho, I think it necessarily helped. I think he can pat himself on the back that he was able to attribute to drawing this big number. I also think the momentum of, Wrestle Kingdoms over the years, we saw it's where a lot of people were introduced to Shinsuke Nakamura for the first time, and and from each year it sort of rolled out. Last year it was Kenny in sort of a prominent role, and he was featured again this year alongside Chris Jericho. I feel like the momentum just keep going on, and momentum is going to keep building and building and building.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And they also announced their cards for the end of the month, the new beginning cards, which essentially is the beginning of a brand new season for New Japan. Some of the most notable main events from that: on the new beginning card, night 1 on January 27th, Hiroshi Tanahashi will face Minoru Suzuki for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. On night 2, Switchblade Jay White will face Kenny Omega for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship, and Okada will face Sonata from LIJ on the actual new beginning card, the third night, for the Heavyweight Championship. So it's a stack card. Hopefully we'll be able to watch all these cards, and we'll be able to talk about it on the A show, of course. But really big, big time for New Japan right now. One more thing I wanted to touch on before we get into the shows this week. Did you see the argument over the men and women gender inequality over pay stuff over this week?
I did see. To me, I looked at it for the first time, and I was like, $12 million for a guy and $400,000 for a woman, and I was just like, It didn't really strike me. Just the vast difference between those numbers.
That's huge.
That's it. It's actually really, really big. Like it's actually almost negligible compared to each other. Just because it's 12 million is huge. I think it opens up another discussion. Are women worth more in the WWE? It seems like it over the past years. They've been really pushing them to the forefront. They've been pushing them and giving them these high-profile programs. And, a couple years ago, WrestleMania 31 in Dallas, you had, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte versus Sasha Banks featured, in all the promotion, they were in the middle.
Yeah.
They're featured, they're highly featured. Honestly, one of the best matches on the card. And then, you're thinking like, hey, Royal Rumble winner goes on to WrestleMania, being the main event. They get a big payday. I feel like, I don't know, women get the same. Typically, I believe probably haven't. But since they're doing the Royal Rumble this year, I feel like the women's championship is in much higher profile now. I feel like I don't think. I know the significant difference is Brock Lesnar.
I think the difference is that it is him. I feel like it might be him or Cena or Roman getting that much.
Cena or maybe Triple H.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He still gets a performance contract, I think.
Yeah, so I feel like Triple H is low-key finessing 2 contracts. Who knows? But it could either be Cena or Brock. But I think.
I don't know. It's just a lot because even in the 400,000, which I'm gonna guess, like I think maybe a Charlotte or a Sasha might be that 400,000. I would hope and pray that it's one of those two. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd hope and pray it's one of those two.
Either Charlotte or a Nikki Bella or something.
Yeah, and it's like there does have to be a conversation, and I know there were a lot of people that were arguing. If they cut the women out tomorrow, it wouldn't make a blip on their revenue. And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't get paid equally. Like that's something that this company could be and I know this is a company that is not progressive whatsoever, but this is something they could be progressive for, and it's worrisome. I think it is a big conversation, and we'll see how it breaks down, especially with this women's revolution shit. It just kind of peels back more of the levels of bullshit behind it to me.
Yeah, it makes it now just feel like sort of a coined phrase as opposed to something that's really, really going on behind the scenes. And to be quite honest, that's how it's been for the last couple of years. WWE is kind of notoriously, I think besides maybe the network, has been like notoriously like behind the ball on things, because I think so much of the old wrestling culture is and just the old culture in general, so infused in everything they do and their programming and their operations, that I'm not sure if they see, they take notice to these things that are happening outside, besides like, oh, it's a women revolution, Ronda Rousey, Serena, but these women are paid. Yeah. These women, even the winner of, her name escapes me now, big check, like $3 million check, and I'm sorry that her name escapes me now. I'll get it probably on the synopsis of this podcast. But it's just big, let's see WWE put their money where their mouth is and pay these women more. They deserve more time. They deserve, quite honestly. But then it's also like, are they in the process of like building the next female John Cena? Like, are they willing to go out on a limb and say, like, not only are we promoting these highly athletic women, and this is our top prize in terms of highly athletic women, but are they prepared to, like, hey, we want women who are able to do have crossover appeal, do movies, do entertainment, be large draws when they come in, all this other stuff.
Yeah, I think they want that, but they don't really push anyone in either division right now. I mean, I think someone from NXT could easily do that, but the way that they push those women. But on the main roster, I really don't think so. Other than like Charlotte, who's even kind of been down, like pushed down a peg. I mean, I don't think anyone other than like Asuka looks really that strong going into Mania. So we'll see.
We'll see. Just one more tidbit. TMZ news. We saw Triple H potentially having a lunch or a dinner with Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
Immediately ducking out of TMZ's view upon being discovered by the cameras, which was very, very funny to me. A lot of hype has been, is Ronda Rousey will be in the Royal Rumble or not. And, this looks like at least there's some progression with things. WWE likes to keep things very hush-hush, but I don't think they've done business with the star, besides, The Rock, done business with a star, the caliber, with the crossover appeal of Ronda Rousey.
We'll see. So, I don't think it's happening at the Rumble, but I think she's on a collision course with Asuka very, very soon. Not at the Rumble, though.
Interesting. Let's we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, but moving on to Raw, how'd you feel about Raw? I thought it was a pretty good show this week. I couldn't complain about it. I thought it was actually a pretty solid show.
I thought it was okay. I mean, it was. I think there was a few. I think it was a solid show in comparison to the shows that haven't been good over the last couple of weeks. So it's kind of more on an uptick, but I feel like, there was a few moments on the show that was notable. And you want to see things progressing, and you want to see things moving forward, and you just want to see things that are interesting in the least.
Some things progressed. I think a lot of things progressed.
Yeah.
A lot of things progressed. I think the main
event of Raw was amazing.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good main event, and that was one of the things that progressed the most for me. Obviously, the Balor Club is official. I think everyone's dreams have come true, especially fucking smiley ass Finn Balor, who cannot. He smiles 90% of the time he's on camera. Now that motherfucker is happy like he just got him a girlfriend. Like he like fucking. Listen, I ain't never seen a wrestler that happy in my life. Never in my life.
I 100% agree. Yeah, he looks at home. He looks like, we're finally doing something. I get to do it with my boys. Like, we all get to eat in some sort of way. Yeah, it looks good. Where do you think they should go with this new Finn Balor?
The new direction here, and once again, which confuses me about Finn Balor's character, and I think that we've spoken about this before, is that even with this change, like, Finn Balor still never loses. Like, he's still never made to, like, other than like those certain points against Kane earlier late last year, he's still made out to be pretty strong. And they had a match against Jason Jordan and the rest of the Shield, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, in which they won in the main event.
The Champions Club.
And listen, Roman and Seth are tremendous in this role.
I think so too. You know what? I think Jason Jordan, even also very tremendous in his role. I think he's, to me, probably the best long-term, long-running storyline on Raw is what's going on with Jason Jordan. I think he's playing his role to the T. Yeah. I think it's a little bit. I'm glad that they're doing. So many times WWE is like, okay, we're not gonna budge on what we do. You're booing this guy, where you're gonna learn to love this guy now. Yeah. And they're saying like, hey, no, now we're gonna make him some slimy, punk kid who can't get his foot out of his mouth, and then Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns has to bail him out of his problems every time. I think it's a good look. It added for another dimension or another element to the main event of Raw. It helped give Finn Balor a strong win. It helped
the whole crew, and they were hammering it over everyone's head, throughout the whole show. Like, these guys are friends. These guys have accomplished stuff, and it's like it's a push that we haven't seen him get in a very, very, very long time. I think that his new direction, naturally it has to lead to a heel turn. We're starting to see it. Finn is a lot cockier in the ring. Even just the way that they react at the end, like, his friends are obviously rubbing off on him, and I think that that's a cool thing. It's happening in a different way than the AJ Styles thing did, where remember when that happened, he kept denying that he wanted to be with them, and then he just did it. Like, this happens to be a lot more gradual, and I think that if they do pull the trigger on him turning heel, then it will actually be a lot cooler than what they did with AJ.
I love it.
Let's get to this fucking god awful. I think the worst thing or two things that I really disliked about Raw. This god awful Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, Asuka stuff, which is kind of has hints of racism in it. that I didn't really appreciate, and they shouldn't be going this way.
I agree. The whole she doesn't speak English thing, it's clearly a lie.
Well, let's frame this for people who don't even know. Like, obviously they're setting up Alexa to try and she's going to try and take out Asuka, obviously, because she lost against Asuka last week on Raw. So she walks up in one segment to Nia Jackson, says, "Did you hear what no, she walked up to Asuka first and basically said, you know, Asuka, I can't believe you said this about Nia." Asuka looks at her like she can't understand anything she's saying. Then she walks up to Nia Jackson, says, "I can't believe that Asuka said this about you." Then Nia says something to the effect of, "Wait a minute, can you speak Japanese? Because Asuka can't speak English." And then walks away. And I was like, wait a minute, guys. Like, she clearly can understand English. She understood Absolution a month ago.
It just came out of nowhere. I didn't get it. Plus the general dialogue between the two of them was just terrible in general.
Oh, it's awful. And I'm going to put a clip of it in here too. It was terrible.
Just like a mind-numbing conversation of nothing or making up things.
And you know what? I got to apologize to you. I actually have to apologize to you. Because you remember when you said that Nia didn't sound enthused to do the Enzo stuff? And I was like, I'm really not sure. She sounds like this whenever she does. She sounds like whenever it sounds like she doesn't want to do a promo, like the promo that's written for her. She did not sound like she was even into any of this shit.
But if you can take Asuka out before she even gets into the Royal Rumble match, you would win. We would go to WrestleMania, and we would finally have that dream championship match we've been wanting.
You don't need to sell me on anything. I know you're just mad because you lost to Asuka last week.
That's not true. And you know what? I've heard some of the stuff Asuka said about you, and I don't think it's right. And you know what? Why would I even try to manipulate you? You'd see right through
Can it, Bliss? Asuka and I are on a collision course anyway. But out of curiosity, what did Asuka say about me?
I don't know. I think if it's leading to me, this is leading to eventually, Asuka versus Nia, but it feels like it's leading more towards now Asuka definitely winning the Royal Rumble, because I feel like there's typically patterns with people who sort of win the Royal Rumble, and there's something they kind of have to overcome, especially faces, and, it feels like that. It feels like, okay, she's got a lot to overcome. Alexa Bliss is throwing a lot at her. Hopefully she decides to win. Maybe Alexa Bliss tries to convince Asuka, hey, maybe you want to challenge the Smackdown Women's Champion, blah, 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 blah. So we'll see how that goes, but it's terrible. It's terrible.
It was awful. It led to there was an Asuka and Nia Jax match planned on the show. It actually did not happen. Nia attacks Asuka after the bell, which leads to them having a match which is probably leading up to be a nothing show next week on Raw. So prepare you for that. But Asuka and Nia Jax next week on Raw.
Yes. The go home for the go home.
The go home for the go home for the go home, actually.
Right.
But let's get to Braun Strowman killing niggas part 100.
Easily the best part of Raw. It was like, I gotta check the YouTube views on this. You know me, I'm like a YouTube view person.
Yeah,
I gotta see.
You thought YouTube was gonna save Jinder Mahal.
Could have.
No, it was never.
You just didn't have enough views, man.
It's never gonna happen.
Braun Strowman, the latest scene for this Braun Strowman segment, because it came out of nowhere. I was already kind of tuned out. I caught the last few moments of it because I kind of just tuned out. It all started with, a similar Heyman and Brock promo,
which I'm tired of.
A similar promo of, and he's trying his best. He's like, you know what? You put me. He's like, oh, we're doing this again. All right, this is how we're going. Started with a similar Heyman, Lesnar promo. It ends with somehow Kane getting involved.
Yeah.
And in getting the jump on Brock, which leads to another backstage fight, and then Braun Strowman comes out of nowhere. A man possessed, a man who only knows the name Destruction, and he throws Brock Lesnar into the wall. Great sell job by Brock Lesnar. Great job of the random case falling on Brock Lesnar. He throws, one of those other huge cases at Kane, completely immobilizes him, then somehow finds a grappling hook
Nigga looked like Batman. He looked like Batman out there.
I'm wondering how many takes they had for him to swing and grab onto this thing. I want to know if it's one take. I want to know if it took 20 takes. That's really what I want to know. It's very, very interesting where this grappling hook was written into the show.
Who came up with the grappling hook?
Grappling hook is the MVP of the show. Like, it's like who wrote this in? It's like, no, he's got to have a grappling hook. I feel like Vince McMahon would be like, no, he pulls the stage down, and someone was just like, no, that's not even humanly possible. He grabs a grappling hook, expertly one try hooks it on the thing, and pulls it down. It looks more like a feat of strength.
It was a cool moment. It was a cool moment, but I still remain very unimpressed as a whole of this whole program. Like, I think this is going to be a long show. Okay,
100%.
And there are a lot of matches that are booked for this show already that I do not care about. I think this is the one year where I only care about the Rumbles. The Rumbles are the only thing that matter to me. This is just another. This could be on the pre-show for all I give a fuck about.
There aren't enough grappling hooks for us to care about this match.
Nope.
There literally isn't. 2.5 million views in almost 2 days. So, did good numbers on the channel.
It's okay. Whatever. End this, please. Let's just get to the. We know where this is leading. We know where this is leading. We know where this is going. We're gonna forget about this feud in like a month. Whatever. One thing I do want to touch on, and I alluded to this earlier. John Cena is booked on every Raw after the Rumble, except Elimination Chamber, I think.
No, he's on Raw, not SmackDown.
Yeah, he's on Raw. He's booked on every Raw.
Wow.
So
SmackDown really needs him, especially since he was on Team SmackDown just 2 months ago. But who cares, right?
free agent John Cena, by the way. Do you think this means he's winning the Rumble?
Could be. It could be. I could definitely see it. As someone who just do I want to challenge Brock Lesnar, or do I want to challenge AJ Styles? I could see him winning the Royal Rumble. It's unfortunate a little bit, just because
you got so much talent. You got so much talent that could win that.
Yeah, way enough. And I don't know what they do with Roman Reigns who doesn't win the Royal Rumble. Like, honestly, I don't know.
He wins Elimination Chamber. He'll win Elimination Chamber.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
Elimination is SmackDown, I believe.
No, it's SmackDown's Fastlane. Because they have that four-way. They have that alleged four-way that's supposed to happen at Fastlane for SmackDown. I think 2 weeks before that is Elimination Chamber, and I don't know if it'll be for the belt, but it could be for the contender. It could be for whoever didn't win the Rumble, which is what I think. That's why I think SmackDown guy's going to win.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. That's what everyone has literally been saying. It's either a SmackDown guy or John Cena. Yeah,
that's literally the only thing it could be. I don't think Roman's going to win it. In Philadelphia, they're not doing that again.
They could.
They ain't doing that. They like him, but they don't like him that fucking much. They don't like him that much.
They easily don't. 100% no. But I don't know where there have been rumors. There was rumors of maybe John Cena, Samoa Joe in a program possibly leading to Fastlane or Elimination Chamber, one of those preferred pay-per-views, which now doesn't look like it's going to happen.
It can still happen.
There's also talks of John Cena and The Undertaker,
which I think is more possible than what people think. I know people don't want it to happen, but you got to think like this Mania takes place in New Orleans, same place where the streak ended.
Right.
I think that it's pretty self-explanatory what's going down. I think they're going to end it there. And who else could do it but Taker? But Cena. I'm sorry. I think that'd be a great way to go out. Honestly, just have Cena do it. I'm not sure. Well, I guess we'll see as time goes on. But again, the one thing about this Mania, no one knows, and I think that's great this year. We're all guessing. We're all speculating still.
That's amazing.
All of us.
I know we talked about John Cena's potential return, but we have to talk about the real return that happened this week.
Oh boy! And
it was the return of The Miz, and it was the return of the guy who's going to save Monday Night Raw, The Miz. He's been gone for 7 weeks.
Okay.
Raw has clearly been in the shitter
That's not true.
But now he's back, and now everything kind of feels important again. We're getting a Miz Roman Reigns match, and at the 25th anniversary of Raw, we're getting we've got the Miz Raj looks at full strength again, beating the hell out of Roman Reigns.
Right, right. I'm loving this promo.
They have Elias out there opening for him. Great use of Elias, by the way. Just someone, and what a tune on Raw, right? Like, I don't know, he was hitting on all cylinders this week.
What a tune.
But the Miz is back, baby. The Miz is fresh off of the Marine 6, fresh off of a USSO show, fresh off of MTV's Champs vs. Stars, fresh off of everything. He's got a new show on USA coming up, docuseries, 6-part docuseries on USA Network.
It's not a docuseries. It's a non-scripted television show. It's basically gonna.
Shut up.
It's gonna be total divas. Now you're just lying. It's like Total Divas. It's like the Crisley show. It's just going to be the Miz version of the Crisley Knows Best show. That's all it is.
A docuseries on the USA Network. A docuseries on the USA Network called Miz and the Misses. So, you know what? I think, 2018, if it wasn't already Miz's year, according to Rolling Stone, 2000, just reprint the article next year and just change the 7s and 8. That's what I'm saying. Can I
get a word in? Can I say?
Please.
I thought the return was great. I thought his promo was really dope. I think that they may do the longest running Intercontinental Champion thing with him this year. I think they'll do it. I think he'll deserve it. I think whenever people beat Miz for the IC title, it's always a big deal because of the way that he makes the matches feel important, and he's been doing that for the past 2 years, which is great. I don't know if he'll win it from Roman. I just really don't see it, but it's definitely something's gonna.
I could see some chicanery.
Yeah,
I could see chicanery.
Yeah,
Shenanigans.
I don't think he's winning it. I don't think he's winning from Roman. Well, I mean, if he does, whoever comes in during that match, then that's going to be Roman's next program.
I could see Jason Jordan costing him the title or something.
Oh, stupid. Yeah, that's a good one. Oh man, Roman Jason Jordan program. Ugh.
What? To Fastlane? Come on, you're right into Fastlane.
You mean Elimination Chamber, bro?
Oh, Elimination. I don't know which pay-per-views which anymore. SmackDown. I don't even know why I'm assuming SmackDown has pay-per-views anymore.
When we talk about it, I don't even know why SmackDown is on the air. It should be a web show. One more thing I want to talk.
Web shows, yeah.
One more thing I want to talk about was Enzo Amore, who exploded into blood and confetti on Monday during his cruiserweight title match against Cedric Alexander. Had a interview with Corey Graves. One of the most interesting interviews
shooting it straight shooting or whatever it's called. Shooting the straight from the source.
Straight from the source. So Enzo's he's proper in character, huh? He's always like this, huh?
I'll tell you the rumors that I've heard, and you tell me what actually went down. Were you or were you not kicked off a bus on a European tour?
How could you kick somebody off of a bus? How are they going to get from point A to point B?
Well, from the riding situation that was provided to you.
No, because if that's the case, you wouldn't have seen me on the next show. Am I correct? Because I got to go from point A to point B, and they have to provide those accommodations because we work for a Fortune 500 company.
I feel like all right, so just notables from this interview, and if you have not seen it, it's probably something you actually want to, because it kind of shows there's a level of delusion with Enzo Amore, and you're not quite sure where it toes the line between real or not real. But it does a few times because he addresses a couple things. Was he kicked off of a bus? Was he kicked off of the tour bus on the London tour? And he kind of addresses it in his way of, how could I ever be kicked off a bus for a Fortune 500 company? I'm a champion. I need to get to a show.
He he says that he showers separately from everyone so he doesn't catch MRSA.
That was all right. That was a much. That was too much. That shows a lack of respect for your peers.
Yeah.
And he compared himself, 2018 Ric Flair. He says where Ric Flair came in with the suits and the women, he comes in with the Gucci and the Louis Vuitton and the Supreme and the hypebeast stuff. He talks about that very scathing moment when they talked about his former tag team partner, Big Cass. And I know we fiddled around with the idea of them linking back together, but I don't.
It's
know
not happening. It's not happening.
I don't know if it's repairable with what they've shown, and you know what? I won't go into it because I've already probably said too much. That'll keep you from watching.
Yeah.
So I'd say if you want to see something, possibly one of the realest moments, an unfiltered moment, because plenty of expletives was used when they talked regarding Big Cass talked about Enzo that they showed during this interview. So I would watch it. It's interesting. I kind of feel bad for him just because I feel like he's living the gimmick too much, and we've all kind of seen how that turns out for a lot of superstars. A lot of spending money, a lot of fast nights, a lot of thinking this is going to last forever when in reality it really doesn't. And especially in his case, where I guess he does not quite have the skills to pay the bills, so his time is potentially limited. But we'll see how it goes. I mean,
I'm surprised Corey Graves didn't punch him in the jaw when he went off on him at the end of the show. But again, I'll just leave that to, if you have it's on YouTube also. There's clips on YouTube. Check out the Enzo episode of Straight from the Source. It's a doozy. Moving into SmackDown, why? That's all I have to say about SmackDown right now. Why?
It's a very ineffective show, I'll be honest with you.
This is a show that for the past 2 months had a lot going for it with with Jinder not being champion. It is now a show that has been literally spinning its own wheels for almost 90 days at this point. I don't know at this point, and I'm close to boycotting it again, because at this point I don't know. I have no clue where the show's going. This Brian and Shane program takes up way more time on the show than is necessary, and it's burying too many people on a roster that is too stacked. It is burying everyone.
We talked about before the show whether or not I saw SmackDown. I said I didn't see the end of it because the end of SmackDown kind of ends a similar way every week, and this week no different. It's kind of I think, as I said again, I don't know. They're trying to build towards something, but I think they realize they have way more weeks than they'd actually like. So they're kind of just spinning their wheels until something major happens, and I think something major will likely. I think a prominent part of this beef is going to happen at Raw 25, just because I think a lot of people are watching. So I think a prominent, maybe, seeds are planted. Maybe there's a promo between Stephanie and Brian. Maybe there's something along those lines. But I think a prominent part of it happens at Raw 25 and moves into it. The reality is we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know whether if this doesn't lead to Daniel Bryan going back to the ring, then essentially why are we doing this?
There's no reason to do it. I mean, now it's the handicap show now. It's like the main event was Shinsuke, Orton, and AJ, who are allegedly these top guys who have no programs. Like Nakamura and Orton have no programs.
And they're just kind of floaters. They're NPCs in the world.
against Sammy and KO, and they beat Sammy and KO, and I guess they're gonna get their wins back next week, and it's not gonna mean anything. It's like, I'm just wondering what happened to the writing on this show.
Yeah, you think they would have something like more geared towards, all right, Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Sammy, KO, they're having their feud over the title. But we're going to have our feud over who we think is going to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So something along those lines. So maybe a couple people get in there. Maybe you have a Baron Corbin who hasn't been used.
In 2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
Yeah, and Baron Corbin, or maybe we have, just something, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rusev Day. A lot of things are
no, they had Rusev losing to the fashion file, to the fashion police this week.
Yeah,
this made no sense.
Which I don't know where they're going towards. I'm like, what are we building towards? But maybe fashion police had to get their win back after those losses to the Bludgeon Brothers.
They don't need it. They're not hot anymore. That's why. That's what I don't understand. Like, you're killing Rusev.
It's actually cooling off Rusev Day a lot by them not capitalizing on it quick enough. I feel like the Rusev Day support is kind of petering out.
Exactly.
Because they're not really capitalizing on it. And I think capitalizing on it would have been not putting Aiden English in this tournament and putting in Rusev.
It's a weird loss. And speaking of that, and we'll get to the U.S. title tournament, but speaking of things that they've pretty much like given up on, they've given up on the Riot Squad. Let's just be clear here. I think we have the clear-cut winners between the brands of who came out looking better. Even with Paige being injured right now, like, the Absolution looks head and shoulders better than the Riot Squad. They're booked better. This week you had Becky Lynch returning to the ring. She beat the leader of the Riot Squad, Ruby Riott, clean and made her tap out.
I feel like, all right, so here's my thing. They're still being booked exactly the same fucking way.
No, the Riot Squad runs away way too much. Like, Absolution never runs away. Absolution
has been trapped within the same vortex of Mickie James, Bayley, and Sasha Banks for the past couple weeks, and then they're doing the same thing on SmackDown, where it's Naomi, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte. I think the reason why they gave Becky that win, because if she came back and they lost again, they would have been completely out of the game.
Have her beat Liv. Have her beat Liv. Not Ruby.
Yeah, that's true. I would say that, but... Yeah, I would have beat Liv.
Have her beat Sarah Logan. Like, why would you? Ruby is far and away the one out of the group that I think is going to go further. Like, with Absolution is iffy. Like, I think Absolution's roles change every week. Where it's like, this week it could be Sonya. Like, she was great this week, but then there's Mandy Rose next week. Like, I think Paige being out is actually kind of making them look better because they get to work more. But with Riot Squad, they're on every week, and I mean, last week they got beat up, got beat up again, and ran again. Their booking makes no sense to me. Like, I just feel like they just gave up on these girls. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't feel like they were slotted into a lumberjack match last month at Clash of Champions, and then when it comes to the Rumble, like, I don't think they're gonna win it at all. I don't think they're gonna have much of a role in it.
No, I think SmackDown is just kind of just evening out now. Apparently there's a 6-woman tag next week, which is like duh. But it's like on the web they announced, hey, we're challenging you to a 6-woman tag next week. Maybe we see something happen there. But I think it was sort of setting the stage for that tag team match. But to me, it's not as exciting. It's kind of like, but then again, because I was wondering, like, yo, what are we doing with the championship? But then it's like, also like, oh, there's nothing for the champion to do at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, exactly. That's because you got to keep Charlotte active because she's not going to be in the Rumble match. So
yeah, so it's kind of what do we do from here on out? Riot Squad easily Absolution.
I really think they're going to do something that I don't think they should do. I think they're going to have the women's wrestle. I think they're going to have the women's title up for grabs or something and I really hope that they don't because they need those numbers on the because Carmella hasn't said that she was going to be in it yet, has she? No. Actually, she has. Everyone from SmackDown, everyone from the roster is in except Mickie James. So no, I don't. They're not going to do it. But
no, Mickie James announced on YouTube. I just scrolled down there. The only one that isn't in it is Dana Brooke.
It's Dana Brooke, and she's not going to.
And I'm just assuming. I assume she'll be in it. To be honest, I'll just assume she's going to be in it. Like, she'll be fodder for somebody. Like, they're not going to not have her in it.
I don't know.
It would be cruel. It would be cruel to be the only woman on the roster not in this match.
Yeah,
Lana is in this match. It would be cruel. It would be cruel, unusual. I would feel slighted. I would cry if I was the woman. Or maybe a man. Me too. I would feel slighted, but
I don't know. I'm just frustrated with every aspect of the men and women's roster on there. And then we get to the U.S. title tournament. Let me ask you something, Meelz. Why would anyone enter this tournament?
to win a title that's now defunct. I don't know. Title
The final
currently has no holder.
The final of the tournament is at the Royal Rumble, where you're gonna have to like wrestle for like maybe an hour, possibly.
I don't know. Maybe
Why?
Two championships on the line.
No.
You could win double gold. I feel like there's an incentive there. I mean, yes, there is also the incentive of, damn, I have to wrestle twice. But imagining winning the U.S. title and then winning the Royal Rumble, Jinder Mahal. No, I'm kidding.
No, please stop with this Meelz booking. Listen, it's never been more obvious to me that Bobby Roode and Jinder Mahal are coming out of this. But
oh yeah. I would like, to me, a New Day versus Jinder Mahal program doesn't feel that bad to me. I feel like it could be, you got three members of the New Day. You got the Singh brothers and Jinder Mahal. It feels good. I feel like they should explore that a little bit after, they have this U.S. title. But it looks like, yes, we've narrowed down the semifinals of this tournament, and we have Bobby Roode, who's going to face Mojo Rawley. I don't know if it's next week or the week after.
It's next week.
No. Well, I think next week we're getting Jinder Mahal versus Xavier Woods.
Oh yeah, you're right. They're spreading it out, which is stupid. Yeah. Also, on a show that barely has any content, they would stretch these matches out. But whatever.
It's I think it could be a decent match depending on. I'm just not going to hold.
No, come on, don't even.
It's just they're going to have a match. It's going to be fine.
You couldn't even say that with a straight face. You couldn't say that with a straight. Jinder Mahal is going to win that match. He's going to cheat like he always does. Bobby Roode's going to beat Mojo Rawley, which I don't think they should do because he just turned heel. And then they're going to face each other.
Listen, Mojo Rawley, very human guy, very terrible finisher.
Awful finisher.
I feel like it's too much setup. It's not realistic enough for me to stand there. But then again, it's kind of like Sammy's finisher, which I don't like either. But
poor Zack Ryder. Poor Zack Ryder, bro.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much Smackdown. This is a show that I'm treating it like it's 205 Live, and it has one of my favorite wrestlers in the world on it.
Yo, shout out to 205 Live. Remember Hideo Itami?
Who's that?
Remember that guy?
Who the fuck is Hideo Itami?
He's just chilling on 205 Live, looking like out of shape and sad. It's sad.
Looking like a fucking loser. I have no clue what they're doing with the Tuesday shows. Well, I mean, RIP 205 Live, which is not even airing yet. Its time slot next week. It's being replaced by Mixed Match Challenge, which I'm infinitely more excited for, and I will be on Facebook watching next week, and we will be talking about.
I'm locked in.
We will be talking about that next week on the A Show. But I think Raw was far and away the better show. I think these next 2 weeks are going to be brutal. Brutal meals until the Royal Rumble. This is a brutal period in wrestling right now. I really wish you could just get to the road to WrestleMania, but hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I'm looking at the YouTube page. I'm always on the WWE YouTube page. There's a backstage segment with Lio Rush. They've done some NXT things. I haven't watched NXT. I wonder if they're doing some character development for Lio Rush. It looks like, he was in the competition on NXT. I'll save you. I don't know. You've probably watched it by now. Lio Rush versus Lars Sullivan. And then they have a nice little segment where he reevaluates his situation at NXT. So maybe they're doing something with Lio Rush after, our first episode was really him really getting chewed out by the roster for the sins of a child. And maybe now they're exploring something with him. Listen, NXT, if you don't have time to watch SmackDown, by means, just go out your way to watch NXT.
It's good. Is it good this week? I haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it, but this week is a tag team match. They're in Atlanta this week.
For the next 3 weeks, actually.
Yeah, the next 3 weeks. They had the tag title match this week. Shayna Baszler made her debut this week. Shayna Baszler with very weird vignettes on YouTube. She's not vignettes, but segment. She's been going around in training sessions and choking out people for real. Which I'm like, sure. I mean, yeah. If that's what gets your rocks off, sure.
I'm with it. I like Shayna. I don't know why people don't want her to be in NXT or around the title picture, but I think she's dope.
Street Talk. What the hell is Street Talk?
Street Profits?
There's something. Street Talk is something with the Montez and
Street Profits, bro.
The
Street
Profits. I forgot their name.
Watch the product, bro.
I forgot their name. And we got a couple things here. So you know what? I'm gonna watch NXT as soon as we get out of here. I'm gonna probably watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it too. But do you have a match of the week?
My match of the week is, let's see. My match of the week. You know what? I had one, and then it kind of just slipped out of my mind. You know what? Watch that Royal Rumble 2016 in Philly.
Actually, you know what? Next week, let's do a deep dive into our favorite Royal Rumbles.
Okay, all right. I'm down with that. Yeah, let's do that for next week. But until then, I'd probably say just watch that Royal Rumble. It's kind of it has the triple threat match with Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, and John Cena. Very good match.
Match of the year contender.
But then it has the questionable booking of Daniel Bryan, who is out of the Royal Rumble literally at the halfway point because
he got pushed out.
He didn't want to confuse anybody to think he would win when they really want Roman to win.
And that wasn't the year they got Rey Mysterio booed. That was the year before, right?
No, that was the year before. That was 2014. They got Rey Mysterio. No, it was like 2 years before, but nonetheless, just Daniel Bryan, just like he's out, and it's the crowd literally shits on the match from there on out. From everyone from number 16 through the end, Ryback, Dolph Ziggler, Goldust, everybody gets booed. Like they are not into this match anymore. It is no longer fun for anybody watching.
One of the worst. I think that period was probably some of the worst, like, to watch. Most infuriating wrestling to watch in years.
I agree.
Hopefully they don't continue that this year. I think it's been infinitely less infuriating to watch, even with all the issues. But I think my match of the
week.
Yes, the Chris Jericho and Shawn. I've been on the Chris Jericho kick lately. The Chris Jericho Shawn Michaels ladder match from Survivor Series 2008, I think.
No, I think it was No Mercy.
Was it No Mercy?
It was No Mercy. It wasn't Survivor Series. They had Jericho win the title for
John Cena to win it.
To John Cena.
Yeah.
At Survivor Series. Which was sad.
Yeah, you're right. It was 2008. It was 2008. I mean, it was No Mercy.
I got an email for Road to WrestleMania tour featuring Brock Lesnar. Oh, Brock Lesnar versus Kane. All right, never mind.
No, yeah, and that's our cue, bro. That is our fucking
March 16th,
cue.
Madison Square Garden, Brock Lesnar versus Kane. First time ever, I believe. I think it is literally the first time ever.
Who cares, bro?
Roman Reigns versus free agent John Cena versus The Miz.
Nah, bro.
Huh.
Nah. I mean, you'll stay for the Miz match, but other than that, like, would you really watch Brock Lesnar and Kane for 6 minutes? You want to watch Brock get chokeslammed 3 times and kick out of all of them?
That's gonna be funny. But no, I wouldn't watch that. No.
Fucking ridiculous. Yeah, but definitely go back and watch No Mercy 2008, Chris Jericho versus HBK for the heavyweight title, and a ladder match. One of the finest ladder matches of all time. I think one of my favorite Chris Jericho matches of all time. Also, and yeah, that's it for the A show this week. Next week we'll be back with all of the reviews of the shows for the week, and we'll also be talking about the Royal Rumble. So come back to us if you need to reach us. You can also always find us on Twitter at OGJohnny5 and at Meelz TV. That is MEELZ TV. And just in case you did not know, we actually premiered a new podcast this week called RNC Radio with myself and Josh Pease. You can also check that out on our SoundCloud. And if you subscribe to us on iTunes, you'll check that out too. There's more stuff to come. We have so much stuff coming on this RNC stuff. The A show is just the beginning, but we are the flagship.
Yes, we are. All right. Listen, we'll see you guys next week. Until then, later, Marks.
Peace. Don't use grappling hooks. All right, bye.